Now, ultimately, though, again, I do think this is about showing people that libertarians can get votes and that libertarians are the dominant political force and political activism in New Hampshire. And if we can send that message out to other people in the state, that's when we start to win. The Republicans are not going to go far enough to protect your kids. They are not going to go far enough to defund the schools. They are not going to go far enough to defund these critical race theory, social justice programs that your kids are being forced to learn. You know, Karen said something interesting. She said, parents are responsible for knowing what their kids are learning in school and then going and forcing the schools to change it if they don't like what they're learning. The fact of the matter is that parents in New Hampshire currently do not have access to the information required to find out what is being taught in the schools because Dictator Sununu is vetoing the parental rights and education bill. That's reality. They are very actively hiding from you what your kids are learning in schools. That is what I will make completely transparent so that anyone can log onto a computer and access a live feed to see exactly and precisely what the teachers are teaching your kids at any given time. And let's talk about the school boards for a second. You know, a lot of people don't know this, but there are only 2 states in the country in which school boards have a direct say over curriculum, and New Hampshire is not one of them. Unless you live in the state of Vermont or the state of Connecticut, your school boards have absolutely no say over the curriculum that your kids are learning in schools. Do you know who dictates that curriculum? The teachers. The teachers can teach whatever they want as soon as that classroom door closes, unless there are laws and policies put in place that say you can't teach this. And as we've already covered, teachers in New Hampshire have gone out of their way to sign public petitions saying, I don't care what the law says, I am going to break it and teach your kids whatever crazy racist 1619 Project social justice nonsense I want to teach them. And when that classroom door closes, you have no access to that information. One of the most effective things we can do is FOIA their emails, FOIA their curriculums, put in public records requests to find out, to force the schools to tell us what they're actually teaching. But even then, that's going to cost you money to be able to get access to that information. So I say we cut out the middleman, we start electing libertarians to these roles so that we can start the process of really making sure that parents know precisely what their children are being taught, precisely what they're not being taught, and once parents have true access to that transparent information, that's when they're going to turn against public education entirely, disenroll their kids from the government schools, start taking advantage of these homeschool programs, which I do want to make more prolific and more available throughout the state. Karen is right that we actually just made it a lot easier for parents to homeschool their kids in New Hampshire in this last legislative session. But the fact of the matter is that the vast majority are still sending them to the public schools. I will not be happy until the majority of parents in New Hampshire remove their children from the public schools entirely and we stop sending them our taxpayer money in order to be able to do that. That is the goal, that is the mission, and that only happens when people believe that libertarians can win when they run for office.